Hey there, I'm Jackie Ferris. This week on the 302, we are at a very special place in Townsend, Delaware called Three Palms Zoo and Education Center. You're just not going to believe all of the amazing wildlife that you can come and see and even feed. So get ready for an ultimately adorable show. The 302 is next. Hey everybody, have we got a show for you? We are at Three Palms Zoo and Education Center. I'm joined by one of the owners, Matt Schaffner, to talk a little bit about the amazing space you have here. Welcome to the 302.
Thank you for having us.
So first of all, we got to get it out of the way. Why do you call it Three Palms?
Originally, we started as a landscaping business, and there are three cold, hardy palms that can live in the state of Delaware. So our business specialized in a tropical feel with the landscapes, but the animals took the popularity.
Now, many zoos are part of, they're nonprofits, they're part of, maybe a town or something, but this is a private entity that takes care of all this, right?
It is, yes. We don't take tax dollars to fund our operations. We believe in volunteerism and people supporting a cause because it's a good cause.
Yeah.
A lot of our animals are former pets, so they need to be treated with a little bit more respect than you would a typical animal according to government regulations.
Yeah.
So you really don't want the government involved in a situation like this for the animal's best interests.
Sure, because like for instance, you guys, I don't know if you can see this, but we've had a turkey circling us around, a very friendly turkey. Tell us about this turkey here.
This is Antioch. Antioch came to us as a young turkey poult. She's grew up here at the zoo. She spends most of her days following around kids in strollers or hanging out with families in general. She likes to eat out of the hand, and she seems to be real popular with most kids.
Sure, sure. Now you have, you said that the animals that are here are typically pets that people couldn't take care of. Some of them were legal, some of them were illegal pets. Can you talk to us a little bit about the range?
Yes, that's right. Legal pets, and especially in Delaware being a big ag state, you're talking the poultry, chickens, ducks, geese, livestock like llamas, goats, sheep, and cows. These are things that people keep as pets quite commonly within the state, but it's not for everybody. And often people get them without a long-term plan, particularly around holidays such as Easter. Now, we also get a selection of animals that are illegal pets. For example, our American alligators were kept by people within the state of Delaware where it's illegal to own an animal such as an alligator or the red foxes or the gray fox. Not every animal is taken with ill intentions. Some of them are orphaned and someone's just trying to help out. There are people within the state that can rehab animals properly and release them into the wild, but when they're raised in a family situation, they become a little too comfortable with people. And state protocol is to euthanize and test for rabies. We're fortunate to be able to offer a home to a few of them.
Sure, sure. And you do have a wide range, as you said. So how do you manage to take care of so many different animals, because I would imagine there are guidelines that you have to follow in order to keep them healthy.
Yeah, there are for certain animals. It's a labor of love. We spend pretty much our entire lives taking care of the animals from sun up to sundown. Even when we're not here, we're still working for the animals.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've noticed that you've got a lot of peacocks on site. Can you tell us a little bit about the different kinds? I mean, they look different. Are they different?
We do.
Or?
They're all Indian blue peacocks. So by species, they're all the same bird.
Yeah.
You have your typical coloration, the Indian blue, and then you see some with some white in them, which is called pied. And even further down, you'll see white and black. It's called black shoulder. So there's different colorations within the species of peacock, just like there are different colored people.
Mm-hmm. And you have a ton of roosters that will follow you around because they expect that you're going to feed.
Yeah, they know people take care of them.
Yeah, so they're like, I'm just going to hang out and talk all day. So talk to me a little bit about, when people come, what's the thing that kind of wows them?
Everybody's different. Some kids are drawn to the birds. You know, they really like watching the chickens walk around or interacting with the ducks. Others don't like that so much, and they prefer the furry, cuddly animals like goats or the sheep. Rocky the sheep is extremely popular.
Yeah.
And the stars of the show really recently have become the prairie dogs, Chip and Dale. They're very cute, entertaining animals that are very active during the day, and they're a great animal to visit here at the zoo.
So tell me a little bit about the llama. We have llamas and goats over here. They
Yeah.
seem like they're enjoying the nice mild weather here.
We do have a nice day here today. The goats were former pets, each of them, almost each of them from a different household. There are a couple that came together. And the llamas that we have here are actually mother and daughter. The father of Tatiana, the youngest llama, was one of our first rescues, Twin. He passed away several years ago.
Oh, that's sad. Now you say that you don't take government funding, so I would imagine that donations and fundraising really helps you to take care of business here, right?
They are important aspects of it. Admissions really drive what we do, keep the animals fed and taken
Yeah.
care of. So, you know, visiting, buying food to feed the animals, interacting with them while you're here is important. But we also host special events to really boost those fundraising efforts at certain times of the year, like for the Christmas holiday, for example, preparing for a long, cold, lonely winter, for instance. And then again for Easter, coming out of the winter months. Easter Extravaganza is a very popular egg hunt that is unique.
Yeah, all the events. I bet kids probably just really love it to come out, see all the animals, and have an activity on top of it.
Indeed, yes.
So what are the hours for you talking this place?
For our hours vary throughout the year. It's usually best to give us a call to check the hours for that day because they can even vary with weather. In the summer months, we're open Fridays through Mondays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., weather permitting. In the fall, we're open daily, those same hours. In the winter, it's a little more restricted from 11 to 3.
Well, there is so much to talk about here at Three Palms, and we're going to talk more about it when we return.
Hi, I'm Joy Gardner. I'm the Director of Conservation here at the Winterthur Museum, and I love the historical research on the 302.
Welcome back. We were at Three Palms talking about all of the animals that you can come and see and all of the programs that they have going here. Now, Matt, one of the things that you do is sustainable feeding. What exactly is that?
That means feeding the animals in a way that doesn't require us going to the store and buying their food. For instance, the pelicans here eat fish, which is incredibly expensive to buy. You can't feed them fillets or anything that's gutted. It has to be whole fish, so getting that is very hard. So we actually go fishing to feed the pelicans regularly to catch enough fish to feed them throughout the year, including the winter months when you can't catch fish.
Okay, so and you're going to feed these two. Can you tell us what their names are?
I am, yes. This is Pete and Repeat. We have Pete on the right and Repeat on the left. Repeat was a repeat offender. She was admitted into the rehab center down in North Carolina multiple times before she was deemed unreleasable. You guys hungry?
Wow, and about how old are they?
They are about 6 years old now, I believe. I'd have to look to be sure.
And you got to be careful. I mean, if you're feeding them, right?
Well, their beaks are rather harmless. They have no biting pressure at all. And they just want the fish.
Nice.
These two pelicans are non-flighted, so they
Okay.
can't hunt their food on their own, which is why they have to live here with us and be hand-fed.
So, and this teaches kids a lot about these animals, because typically in the wild you wouldn't be able to get up close and see because they would take off before you got too close.
Correct. In the wild, they're not comfortable around most humans, except at the occasional fishing pier.
Sure, but they're not this is not the only two animals that are fed sustainably, right?
That's correct.
You have alligators.
We have alligators as well, which eat a large fish diet, and we also collect our chicken eggs to feed animals like the foxes and the coyote.
So that just must be like an all day. Do you have like a schedule where you?
It's hard to follow a schedule in a world with animals, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it can also, help. Running a facility like this has got to be time consuming and a little expensive. So doing things like this is very helpful.
It is, yeah. Prior to fishing, we could have spent upwards of $200 a week just buying fish for these two birds.
Yeah.
So fishing with $12 worms or worms out of the garden is a lot more effective and more efficient.
So beyond Pete and Repeat, what other kinds of sustainable feeding practices do you guys employ?
We have a relationship with the fish cleaning station down in Lewis to obtain fish carcasses, which help supplement the alligator's diet. As they've gotten bigger, they don't eat small fish like the pelicans any longer. They eat quite larger fish. And we do catch fish for them as well, such as rays, which are large, and we feed the carcasses of the rays to the alligators and the vultures. But the carcasses are a quick, easy source to fill those hungry bellies.
So tell us a little bit about the alligators. How old are they? What are their names?
We have Mr. Smee and Wendy. They're both about 15 to 17 years old, give or take. They were illegal pets surrendered to us by their supposed owners. Both of them from different households, and not the only alligators we've ever had here at the zoo. It's important to note you never know what's in your neighbor's basement.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So you've had them for a number of years?
We have. We've had Mr. Smee and Wendy for roughly 7 years, and they've done a lot of growing since we moved to this new location about 5 years ago, where they're in full sun.
Wow, so is that a big factor? The more sun they get, the bigger
It
they get?
is. It's actually a very important thing to note. Sun is an important part of an alligator's overall health, and when they're kept as illegal pets, often indoors and without proper lighting, they often have problems or diseases such as metabolic bone disease. The two alligators we have now were seemingly well taken care of, and they've been growing quite well out here in the sun.
Yeah, so I know that you have a lot of like chickens and turkeys, and a lot of these animals are kind, they want to be fed, they want to be interacting with you, but what about the alligators? I mean, they're still wild animals.
They are. Alligators don't have the kind of brain that can be affectionate or loyal, so they are purely instinctual. They habituate. They know that people can feed them, which is why it's dangerous to feed them in the wild, and it's illegal in many states to feed wild alligators. But ours will often take the food right out of our hands because that's what they've been learned to do.
Yeah, but still you got to be careful.
Indeed.
around these too.
Indeed.
Yeah. So when we come back, there are so many more. We're going to go over to the prairie dogs.
Sure, we can check
We're
them
going
out.
to go over to the prairie dogs. Cuteness factor on overload when we return.
My name's Mariah Gant. I'm the producing artistic director at Del Shakes, and I love learning all about the arts in Delaware on the 302.
Welcome back. We are at Three Palms checking out all of the animals, and I'd like to introduce you to Gus the goose. Tell me a little bit about Gus.
Gus is a really special resident. Gus has been with us for about 12 years, or was it 7? He was abandoned at a park in Dover, Silver Lake Park, which was a spillway where there are a lot of ducks and geese there, but he shouldn't be there. He's a domestic goose. And there were some kids abusing him one day when we got the phone call about him. So we went there and picked him up, and he's been my buddy ever since.
Oh, he looks really sweet. I'd pet him, but I wouldn't want to get nipped by a goose.
Here, go ahead.
Can I
He's
pet
fine.
him?
Yeah.
Oh, he's so soft.
Gus is an imprint. Geese learn what they are by what raises them, like Mowgli in the Jungle Book. He thought he was a tiger because he was raised by tigers.
Yeah.
Gus was raised with humans, probably an Easter present. So he learned to be a human, but then, like I said, he was abandoned. But he's most comfortable with us. As you can see, he's quiet while I'm holding him.
Yeah.
But when I set him down, he'll start honking. Of course, he probably won't now.
Yeah,
There he
he's
goes.
like
There he
with
goes.
his beak in the air. So there are so many animals that we haven't talked about. You have foxes and you have a coyote. Tell me about them.
Yes, the foxes have a number of stories. You have the red fox and the gray fox, which were born wild animals but orphaned, rescued by good, caring people. And in the case of the gray fox, they even tried to find a rehabilitator to take her, but were instructed that there were none in her area and that they should put the young fox out to let nature take its course. Being the good Catholic folks they were, they couldn't just let her die, so they raised her and made her friendly. She likes kids, so she can't live in the wild, but there was no reason she couldn't find a place like us to live.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what she did after traveling from Pennsylvania to Virginia and then to here, because they had to go all the way to Virginia to find somebody that was willing to help.
So when we're talking about all of these animals, a lot of times when you go to a zoo, you can't really, like, I just touched Gus, you can't really touch the animals, but you can touch some of them here.
That's the really special thing about Three Palms, because of us being a rescue and the animals often being former pets. They want that attention from us, and it helps kids to really form a connection and a bond with different kinds of animals that they might not otherwise get an experience with.
And when's the last time anyone got up close to a coyote?
I can't imagine.
So tell us about Bobby is the name of the coyote?
Yes, Bobby was raised by humans down in Virginia. He was first found by animal control when he was a pup with broken metacarpal bones in his paws. And they thought he was a puppy because he was licking the animal control officers in the face. They took him to the vet for treatment, and they were going to take him to, you know, the local SPCA to adopt him out, but they learned while he was at the vet that he was no ordinary puppy. He was indeed an eastern coyote, and they did DNA results to confirm that, which muddies his story because eastern coyotes are regulated as a nuisance animal. They're not a species, so state protocol in most states is to euthanize them. Rehabbers can't even rehab and release a wild coyote. They have to put it down. But because Bobby had been raised with humans and was comfortable with people, he was a good candidate to come live at the zoo.
So how do people just call you up and say, we've got this animal?
Ideally, yeah. Ideally a call or a text or an email or a message. Every once in a while they show up at the door, but it is definitely best to give us a call first because we can't take every animal.
Yeah, and I mean, and them coming here basically means that, you know, they get to live out their lives being cared for as opposed to, in many cases, just being put down.
That is true. And it's also important to note, and I mentioned it earlier, that we can't take every animal, but when we get a call, we do what we can to help them find somewhere to go, like a rehab center in the case of the wildlife, or a private farm or a hobby farm in the case of somebody's ducks or goose or pig that they can't keep.
Yeah.
You know, so we try to help them find somebody or at least offer them a resource to check.
Now, one thing that I'm curious about, you've got a sheep and a tortoise in the same enclosure. Are they buddies or are they just cellmates?
They're kind of buddies. The tortoises, sadly, we used to roam around and we couldn't because visitors are not kind to animals always. And parents don't always keep an eye on their kids. So sadly, he's in an enclosure now, along with some of the other tortoises, but it works well together, and they have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's having a lot of fun here. You also have a donkey?
We do. Dominic's got a big personality.
Yeah.
He's the biter here. I warn every single person coming in, watch out for the donkey. He's friendly, but he'll bite.
So keep your fingers away from Dominic the donkey and the alligators.
Well, you can't reach the alligators, but we don't want any of that food going in there anyway.
No, so if somebody's coming out for a visit, what's the best time of year, you think?
It really depends on personal preference as far as weather. The animals prefer cooler weather or earlier days, especially in the summer months. It's always best to give us a call, and we'll sort of give you a recommendation on when's the best time to come.
Fantastic. And you got all kinds of programs year-round. We talked a little bit about the holiday programs. What other programs do you have throughout the year?
Well, we have field trips that come in from schools, daycares, summer camps, etc. We do several holiday events throughout the year. I think we mentioned the Easter egg hunt earlier, and Zoo Lights and Christmas Nights is a magical Christmas event. Upcoming, we have a Christmas in July event on 4 nights in July where we'll have some special hours which provide a good window to see some of the nocturnal animals that you don't normally see during the day, like our screech owl, or the foxes tend to be very lazy during the day. They're more playful at night.
Oh, it looks like the groundhogs came out.
Prairie dogs.
Prairie dogs.
Yeah, that
so
looks
tell
like
us a
Dale.
story about your prairie dogs.
The prairie dogs were former pets, illegal in the state of Delaware. However, the folks had them, and They needed to find them a new home. They had done some, the prairie dogs did some remodeling to their drywall, so they needed to find them somewhere safe to live.
And now they can hang out and enjoy themselves. Chip and Dale.
Chip and Dale, yeah.
Oh, they're both out wandering around.
They're the closest thing to a squirrel we'll ever have. Squirrels tend to be very difficult to keep in captivity, and it's not recommended anyone try to raise a young squirrel. But that's why they got the honorary names Chip and Dale.
Excellent. Well, Matt, thank you so much for allowing us to come out. We could spend all day out here, you know, visiting with the animals, especially the turkeys. I can't recommend them enough. And you can get a little bag of food and feed them. You'll be the most popular person in this place if you get a little bag of food when you come out.
I think Miss Jackie might want to give it a try.
I think I will for the clothes. We'll see. Well, Matt, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
We'll be right back. You see this sign here? It says, "I eat fingers." I'm gonna go ahead and try to get Dominic the donkey a little treat before he eats my fingers. So if you come out to Three Palms, make sure you snap a picture. Keep your fingers away from Dominic. It's right there, brother. It's right there. I'm gonna like point with my elbow and share it with us on Facebook. Now here are a couple other things that you might wanna check out. Here you go. Want some more? Here, woo! There you go. Whoop. Here you go. For more information on the programs and visiting times and all of the things here at Three Palms Zoo, you can go to threepalmzoo.org, and that is the number 3. That'll do it for this week's episode of the 302. Make sure you follow us on Facebook to get behind the scenes content you're just not going to get anywhere else. I know this goat is a follower. We're going to leave you now with some beauty shots of the rest of the zoo. Until next time, I'm Jackie Ferris. Tell them you saw it on the 302.